There is a new sheriff in town at the Justice Department, and he's wasting no time going after fraud in government programs. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche says the DOJ is now investigating more than 8,000 cases of fraud with potentially $1 trillion in taxpayer dollars at stake. Blanche is focusing on COVID-era programs, entitlement fraud, and all abuse buried deep inside America's ballooning federal budget. And it's popular. Well, let's go back to this topic. I want to come to you, Jackie, first and give you a couple of examples. A South Florida insurance brokerage pleading guilty to an ACA, Affordable Care Act enrollment scheme totaling more than $160 million. A California man pleading guilty to submitting $270 million in fraudulent claims through California's Medicaid program. Can we get rid of this?
I would hope so. It's completely ridiculous. It's the antithesis of what America stands for, and yet for some reason, administration after administration, both sides are guilty of allowing this to go on and not putting a stop to it. Are we putting up the poll? Okay, I'm so glad you did that because that's exactly where I wanted to go. This is a Fox News poll on how much government spending is wasteful. In March of 2025, when they were polled, 57% said almost all or a great deal. That number has gone up to 75%. My feeling on this is that since President Trump has come into office with DOJ, with J.D. Vance and his task force, now Todd Blanche is getting in on the action, people have really woken up to what the extent of it is here. And it's mind-boggling because what happens, especially in blue states, they keep asking you, the taxpayer, for more money. In California, where we're talking about some of this fraud, they want to collect more money and go after the billionaires to what? Continue to waste, continue to fund programs that aren't working, continue to have people, we've seen their pictures from Minnesota, lining their pockets with taxpayer money in nice houses and fancy cars. We don't stand for that.
Caroline, when I look at this, I mean, I get nauseous. I get sick to my stomach when I see these descriptions of how our money is being used. And it's good to see that the American people share my angst over this. This is our dollars. What do you think of the effort to curtail this? Is it going to work?
Yeah, I think the lesson of the last year is that if the federal government is subsidizing it, somebody is robbing it blind. And Marcus and I have discussed this in previous panels, but this should transcend politics. Democrats and Republicans should view this issue as equally outrageous, because for the Democrats, if there is a recipient of a payment that is improper, that is money that didn't go to an autistic kid or someone who's disabled or someone who's elderly in hospice care or the homeless. So their social programs are being abused, which means that their welfare state, that is their whole business model, is being abused.
Which is why it'll never get fixed.
Right.
My cold take, it'll never get fixed. They're laughing at us.
Yeah.
My favorite death row inmate, Scott Peterson, got a jobless claim under the Paycheck Protection Program under COVID. California lawmakers looked into it. There was a study, I think 75% of the fraud that they identified, they didn't want to cure because it's too costly to go after it, to cure it. So all the lawmakers, when it landed on their desk and they said, fix this, they said, no, because it undermines our big government spending program, so we can't do. So they're literally laughing at us.
I wore a bright tie today so I could be the lightning rod, be the person that puts a little bit of black cloud on this. I feel like all this discussion around fraud in California and Minnesota, while true and needing to be solved and accountability needs to be there, feels like the in vogue conversation to be having right now. What matters to me more, trendy, and I think that the voters are starting to form around what they're hearing. What we're not hearing, still not hearing, is when is the spending going to stop? I understand that the money was spent and I want it back, but I want to know, when is the spending going to stop? And whoever can run in the midterms or in the next presidential election that says it is important to provide social services to those in need. It is important to do that. It is important to have safety and security to protect our borders. But it is also important to be responsible, fiscally responsible, so that those things can happen. Because you're not going to get the benefits you want. You're not going to get what you need because we spend too much on stuff we don't even know.
And it's not going to happen when over half the Democrats polled say that they like socialism. Well, it's not going to.
But I want to hear the Republicans start talking about it again. And I know that our view is to talk about it as it relates to the Democrats. And when we talked about it on the show, that is true. But I also want to hear Republicans start to draw a hard line and say, we are spending too much money on everything.
Nobody
The problem
does
that they have, they get the pushback from their constituents in red states that are also part of the system. And so I'm not defending this. I think that, overall, both sides should be talking about cutting spending, but it just ends up being not actually the most popular issue at the ballot box, which was part of the push-pull in the big, beautiful bill, where you had some of the Republicans not wanting to cut spending as much.
I want to get on to the tax issue that I mentioned to you in the break here. I know we also wanted to talk about Zohran Mamdani, which is always a popular topic on this show. Okay, I'll do that instead.